The 54th International Beal Chess Festival has started, and yesterday we saw the action in Chess960, the first tournament of the event. So we were witnessing a lot of very exciting and action-packed games. So 8 Grandmasters were playing out round-robin tournament, and let's recap some of the most exciting moments in the tournament. So for example, the very first round, Maxime Lagarde, the French GM, was playing against Boris Gelfand, and very typical to his character and playing style, he sacrificed the pawn on a2. So rook f1 was played in the game, sacrificing the pawn on a2, and after rook a2, bishop c1, white is looking for some kind of an attack at the king side because he has so many pieces concentrated looking at the black king. Now Gelfand played rook a1, f takes, bishop f4, captures, and seemingly was holding the position together. After bishop g2, queen f5 offering a queen trade, which was rejected, and black seemed to have everything more or less under control, and this is when a sort of a little tragedy occurred. He played knight g4, missing bishop h3, and now knight e5 is impossible because the queen on e6 is under attack. So after bishop takes, d takes, white is losing the knight on g4 due to the pin. So he tried to complicate matters by d4, queen g3, queen d5, threatening with a mate here, but apparently there is just nothing but one check. And very quickly, the Frenchman was able take down the point. And apparently this would turn out to be a game between two potential leaders, which affected the final score in the end. So this was played in the first round. For example, also another very exciting game, it was played between Gata Kamsky against Sarin Mikhal, the Indian prodigy. And here Kamsky played this very beautiful move, c5, the idea to sacrifice the pawn. For example, d takes, he can take on e5 and create two very strong passed pawns. Now, Mikhal here, he tried to play knight b4, rook d2, queen f7, going after the mate, queen a2, queen a1, mate on the board, rook a3, Kamsky. So all of that, still the idea of d takes e5 remains. And here we saw a very nice combination. So after rook c8, c takes on d6, queen c4, black is threatening with queen c1 mate. After rook d1, e4, bishop e4, now black already is busted, but we saw a very nice finish to the game after rook a6, d7 attacking the rook, and after rook d8, Gata was able to finish the game in style. He played rook c1 attacking the queen, and after queen b5, very nice rook c8 check, rook takes on c8, queen f4 check, and now white is winning because rook c7 allows white to put the second queen on the board. There's no rook d6, there's no queen e5, so the king has to go away, and white simply collects the rook and puts the second queen. So this was just one of the many examples of exciting games with very nice combinations in the end. Also, we were witnessing a lot of creativity. For example, in this game, the young German Vincent Keymer was playing against Alain Pichot, the Argentinian #1 Grandmaster. So there was a lot of improvisation in the opening phase. So for example, here, white did play h4. I mean, why not? So h4, fighting for space advantage, knight c6, bishop f3 here, and g4. Already threatened with some ideas to play g5. Again, push away the knight and then try to improvise to gain something out of the complications. So here, black decided to counter-strike with g5, and now after knight b5, white is going after knight a7. Now, black decided to accept it. He took on h4, and after knight a7, bishop a8, I think it about signals the weirdnesses and the unique positions we had in the tournament. So all of the players were trying really to play a lot of creative chess. And for example, in this game, the white king was already walking to e2 and sometimes even appearing on d3, making the games very much unpredictable and exciting for the viewers. Now, for example, this game of Maxime Lagarde against Kirill Alexeyenko, this appeared to be a fight between the top two finishers in the end of the tournament. Here, white has two queens on the board, and Actually, it's black who is playing for the win because the white king is exposed. Black has the rook, black has the queen, and the white king doesn't have any defenses. And Alexienko did try to checkmate black, but apparently it's simply impossible. There's no rook c3, there's no rook e5 check, and after a couple of checks, f4, king d4, queen f2 check, king d3, queen f1, king d4, queen f2, the draw was soon agreed. So again, this is just one example how all of the players were fighting for the win in every single game. Now, let me show you another game. Kirill Alexienko, he deservedly won the tournament because he showed a really great understanding of their rising Chess960 positions. And for example, in this game against Vincent Keymer, he was improvising quite a lot in openings. For example, Kirill played a number of times the first move f4, or for example, b3 and g3, and still almost in every single game he managed to outplay his opposition. So here, after bishop c7, he played long castle, hiding his king at the queen side, and now after d5, suddenly he was able to launch a quick and swift attack against the black king. Now c takes, knight takes, d5, already demolishing black's defenses, and after c takes, knight takes on d5, the young German appeared to be in just a terrible position at the start. Long castle, knight e4, white already is dominating the position, and with a swift a4, a5, a6, followed by h3, bishop a2, and queen b5, white very quickly crashed through, already attacking with some ideas with queen c6, queen b7, and also the knight on c7 is suffering because of this very annoying pin. So Alexienko won the game. Now, one of the most exciting games in the tournament was by Boris Gelfand against Alain Pichot. So white is really enjoying a great position here, and here the Israeli grandmaster played bishop g5, not only attacking the rook on d8, but also threatening with some knight h5 and bishop f6 ideas. Now black decided he doesn't have anything better, and he decided to give up the exchange. But here the experienced grandmaster decided to go for fireworks. So not bishop takes on d8, no, you just played bishop f6 and try to checkmate your opponent. So white's idea was to remove the bishop and play at some moment queen g4, queen g7, and try to deliver a mate. Well, black didn't have a choice. He had to take the bishop, takes, knight takes on b2, disrupting white's idea to play queen g4, and after queen d2, king h7, around here it should be becoming apparent that white's idea simply didn't work. Still, Gelfand tried to do his best, and after rook e5, rook g8, here, the attack needs to continue, so another spectacular move, knight e4, sacrificing another piece, threatening to play knight g5, and a lot of sacrifices incoming, so black had to accept it at some point, and after queen g5, more pieces are flying left and right, and now after knight f5, white is attacking with everything he has got, and after d takes, knight h6, black gonna take on h6, there's gonna be queen h6 and the mate on g7, king f8, knight f5, and here in a huge time trouble, black accepted a draw. After king g8, knight h6, king f8, knight f5, both opponents agreed to a draw, although objectively black is winning. Had he found on seconds this very cold and cool move, queen f4, which defends the h6 square, and queen h8 is now met by rook g8. Another very exciting game, which we were witnessing the only loss of the eventual winner of the tournament by Kirill Alexienko, was the game of the Indian prodigy Arturs Neikšāns playing with white. So here the young Indian grandmaster was able to launch a very beautiful attack. So he played e5. Now, naturally, black cannot take on e5 because there's going to be knight g5, queen h5 ideas, and a very strong attack. So black decided to play bishop f8 and guard it like this. So g takes is necessary to take control of the e5 and g5 squares. Now knight h4, white's attack still continues with queen h5, knight f5, another amazing shot. The knight cannot be taken, there's going to be rook takes on e8 check. So the Indian GM was able to launch a very nice looking attack, and the Russian GM's position very quickly collapsed. I'll just show you this very nice final shot after Queen f8. Knight e5 check. Obviously you cannot take on e5. There's going to be intermezzo, queen takes on f6. And after king e7, probably one of the nicest moves of the tournament, queen takes on h7. White is sacrificing queen only to recapture it back on f8 and winding up 2 extra pawns and effectively winning the game. Now, one of the most exciting games was the game between Vincent Keymer against Maxime Lagarde, and Maxime appeared to be doing really great after the opening, having so much time on the clock and a great position, but the young German Grandmaster was looking for ways to organize a counterattack himself. Now he did play here g5, organizing a very interesting counterplay at the g file. After f takes, knight g5, b takes on c7. Now the position is very complex. And after knight takes on f3, apparently Maxime had to understand that the best move here is not to take on f3, but play rook b6, a very difficult move to spot in a rapid time control. So he played bishop takes on f3, a very logical move. And after bishop takes, rook takes, bishop takes on d4, the game is a complete mess. Now here, white made a huge mistake by playing c5 and trying to checkmate black, only missing black's counter idea. Now rook takes on g2 is another great move here, because white cannot take, king takes on g2, rook g8 check, and white loses because the rook on f3 cannot be defended. So white did try to play knight e5, defending the rook on f3 with a queen, and after d takes, king g2, rook g8, e4, black was quickly checkmating white. Now finally, the final round of the tournament saw really a big drama, because there were two leaders in the tournament. Boris Gelfand was playing against Noel Studer with white color, and Kirill Alexyenko was playing against Alain Pichot. They were the two leaders, 4 points out of 6, and Gatakamsky was having 3.5 points. But suddenly the tables were turned completely in the last round. First, Boris Gelfand with white suffered quite an unexpected upset, with white pieces confidently losing to Noel Studer, who had started the tournament 0 points out of 5, but managed to score 2 very important wins in the 6th and 7th round, thus completely changing the situation in the tournament. And Kirill Alexyenko was doing really great after the opening. He outplayed his opponent with black. He got really excellent position and having 2 extra pawns in an endgame. And at this moment, I believe the nerves struck in. So somehow he managed to misplay this position. He lost 1 pawn. Then he continued to misplay the position. White was getting already quite active chances, and apparently he was already losing. Now here, white slightly misplayed it, took with the wrong rook, rook takes, c takes on e5, and Kirill, starting this position with 2 extra pawns in an endgame, appeared to be a pawn down in the rook endgame. So the game eventually finished with a draw. Alexyenko showing a very nice technique to save the game, and this allowed him to finish in the first place in the tournament by 4.5 points out of 7. Really a big drama in the final round, but I mean, that's why we really love chess. So finally, I would like to show you the tournament table. Kirill Alexyenko takes the first place, 4.5 points out of 7. He was leading the tournament starting from the start, 2 out of 2, 3.5 out of 4. Then the loss against Arturs Neikšāns, and quite a deserved win. Now in the second place appeared to be Maxime Lagarde, sharing the second place with Boris Gelfand and Gatakamsky, but he had the better tiebreak, meaning he had scored 1.5 points against his opposition. So that's why Maxime takes the second place, and Boris Gelfand takes the third place. Then in the fourth place is Gatakamsky with 4 points out of 7. Vincent Keymer remained at 50%. Arturs Neikšāns probably is not really happy with the tournament. He scored -1 or 3 points out of 7. Alain Pichot also 3 points out of 7. And although the local GM Noel Studer, he scored only 2 points out of 7, he has some reason to be happy, because he did start the tournament badly. 0 points out of 5. He was struggling really badly, but he managed to turn the tables and scored 2 points and an important boost of confidence for the upcoming tournaments. So that's it. The Chess960 tournament is finished. See you very, very soon.